the milestone in our 10-year devolution journey, identify challenges, and seek to formulate appropriate responses as we rekindle our commitment to the devolution cause. Throughout this conference, we have participated in engagements as broadly outlined in 5 thematic areas, but crystallized in the following key objectives. 1, to assess and propose measures that county governments can adopt to enhance transformative service delivery for improved citizens' livelihoods and a stronger business environment. 2, examine the benefits of adopting technology and digitization and the potential impact on economic development and discuss strategies for promoting innovation and digital transformation in the devolved context. 3, to reflect on the trends and challenges that have been experienced in financing the devolved sector and recommend innovative approaches for sustainable and adequate financing for county governments. 4, to evaluate the effectiveness of good governance practices in promoting equitable and sustainable development in the devolved units. And finally, examine strides made in the affirmative action agenda and propose responsive measures that can be adopted to guarantee the place of women, the youth, and the most vulnerable in governance. These constitute the thought-provoking concepts we discussed and interrogated during the plenary and breakaway sessions, culminating in practical steps that we need to take with clear timelines and mechanisms for evaluation and impact assessment. Your Excellency, as we reminisced on the long journey we have traveled to this point, I was reminded of the first cohort of senators, governors, and members of county assemblies and the difficult moments they went through as they pushed to synchronize devolution with our national development priorities. This group, of which I happen to have been part in my capacity as governor, is credited with having laid a firm foundation for devolution under very difficult circumstances. I recall assuming my responsibilities as the first governor of Kilifi County without any physical office. I had to make use of what was previously my campaign secretariat on the outskirts of Kilifi town. The same scenario was witnessed in a number of counties across the country. But today, our counties boast of good office space for governors and staff and state-of-the-art assembly premises, enabling them to serve Kenyans better. The pioneer senators, too, were not left out. They had to contend with the less than ideal Shimba Hall at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, in Nairobi, later moving to the County Hall, and finally to the current high-tech chamber at the main parliament buildings. Indeed, it has been a journey of 10 years. These humble beginnings did not dampen their spirits. In fact, it sharpened their resolve in discharging their constitutional mandate of representation, legislation, and oversight. This determination saw them secure critical footholds in favor of devolution. Back then, there was many insinuations that the Senate was a house for old men. We now know better. The Senate is, in fact, an august assembly of wise men and women, age notwithstanding. Today, we have a very vibrant, youthful Senate, oozing with wisdom and a great, tremendous appetite to protect devolution. To borrow the words of Chinua Achebe, these leaders have lived up to the true definition of the youth who have accepted to wash their hands and therefore won the right to dine on the king's table. Your Excellency, allow you to just mention but a few. Seated very next to you, we have the miracle Senator, Senator Karungo, youthful senator, Senator Methu, Senator Hezena, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Chimera, just to mention but a few. These are young men and women who have fought and now occupy their rightful seats in the Senate. As we celebrate the gains and milestone in devolution, I invite you, distinguished delegates, to give these pioneer senators, governors, and members of County Assembly a hearty round of applause for having helped. Thank you for having helped chart a great cause of devolution in the face of adversity against numerous odds. Distinguished delegates and gentlemen, allow me at this juncture to briefly revisit the critical matter of the financial autonomy of county assemblies. In my speech at the opening ceremony, I alluded to the fact that county governments comprising the executive and county assemblies play a critical role to the success of devolution. Through their legislative